welcome back to more Factorio Space Age. You might be wondering how I ended up in this situation. Well, we built a big flying platform to whisk us away from the safety of our starting planet Novice over to the inhospitable world of Vulcanus, where untold riches and horrors alike await our arrival. Our mission? Build a factory, get some fancy science packs, launch some rockets, and get back home in one piece. Immediately, we slapped down a cargo landing pad to receive the rest of our supplies. Taking a look around, we've got a lot of cliffs which will get in the way of us trying to build, and we've also got these ominous red zones on the map that we're going to steer clear of for now. There are no biters on this planet, but that doesn't mean it's uninhabited. Our starting area is a safe zone with some initial resource deposits. We've got our old friend coal, some free sulfuric acid straight from the ground, and a new resource called calcite. The rocks scattered around all over the place also give us some non-renewable iron and copper ore, as well as this new tungsten ore. Unfortunately, I forgot to bring robots, so we do some mining by hand. I also forgot power poles, so we only have these substations. Luckily, there is a solution to this problem. We can still control our space platform from down here, so let's send it back to Novice to go pick up some of the supplies we forgot. In particular, we need refined concrete, but we don't actually have refined concrete at home either. Luckily, our construction bots can expand the factory in our absence. Vulcanus is a lot closer to the sun, so our solar panels are 6 times as effective as back on Novice. This makes solar an excellent power source to start us off. Washing coal with sulfuric acid gives us carbon, which we can use to process that tungsten ore we found into tungsten carbide. We don't have a renewable source of tungsten yet, but we'll need as much as we can to get things started around here. While that cooks, let's go check out one of these danger zones. Say hello to our new friend, the Demolisher. These giant lava worms have thick armor and rapid healing, making our bullets essentially useless against them for now. They're also completely immune to fire and lasers, so none of our normal ways of dealing damage will help here. As a result, we get absolutely demolished by this quote-unquote small demolisher. If we're going to kill one of these things, we'll need a different approach, and for that, it'll help to have a proper factory here on Vulcanus. With our freshly delivered supplies from home, we can use the scattered bits of tungsten to create Vulcanus' first specialty machine, the Foundry. Foundries will be the backbone of our factory on Vulcanus. By pumping lava from this lava lake and mixing it with a bit of calcite, our foundries are able to extract molten iron and copper. There's also a stone byproduct that we can just dump back into the lava. Casting for molten metal is a huge upgrade. Not only are the recipes more efficient, but foundries themselves are super fast and come with a 50% productivity bonus for free. If we can bring these boys back to Novice, they'll be a big improvement over our electric furnace setup. Our biggest problem right now is that we need tungsten to make more foundries, and we're still scrounging for scraps from these rocks. There is an actual tungsten ore patch to the east, but it's in Demolisher territory, so it's pretty much inaccessible until we can convince this guy to share. Well, we can ignore that for now. Using our plentiful iron, we can make some basic supplies like belts. Partway through, I realized there's a better way to do this. Instead of crafting gears from iron plates, we can just cast them directly from molten iron, and this way they cost half as much. Just like with iron, we can use the exact same setup to make molten copper from lava and calcite. In our absence on Novice, the biters have begun to reclaim some of their territory, inching dangerously close to our uranium outpost. I'm glad I left some turrets there for defense at least. Alright, let's build some green circuits. Originally, I just copy-pasted our setup from Novice and added some foundries to cast copper plates. Then, while building out more supplies, I finally noticed that there's a recipe for casting copper wire directly from molten copper, and just like gears, it costs half as much. Let's take this from the top. We can move copper wire directly from the foundries into the circuit assemblers, and the whole thing takes up way less space now. And hold on, we don't actually need to feed in the iron plates via belt either. Casting them on site is a lot easier. The ratios aren't perfect, but 1 iron and 1 copper foundry are roughly enough for 3 circuit assemblers. That's all set up, but there's one more problem. These foundries use a lot of power, and our solar panels just can't keep up. Luckily, Vulcanus has us covered. We can use sulfuric acid neutralization to turn this plentiful acid and calcite into a whole lot of steam. Free power, baby. Fun fact, this is also our only source of water on this planet. We can use that water for refined concrete, so we don't have to ship it in from Novice anymore for making foundries. Unfortunately, I made a silly mistake here and didn't notice the recipe for concrete that uses molten iron, so we're gonna make it with iron ore for some reason. Next, our goal is to make the other Vulcanus-specific machine, big mining drills. For that, though, we'll need electric engine units and red circuits. Electric engine units aren't too bad, since we can cast all the ingredients for normal engine units directly from molten iron. We still need lubricant to actually start producing them, though. To make that lubricant, as well as any other oil products here on Vulcanus, we'll need to use simple coal liquefaction, which takes coal, calcite, and sulfuric acid to produce heavy oil with no extra byproducts. That gets us the lubricant we needed. We can also use some of our precious water to crack the heavy oil into light oil and petroleum, which we'll use for rocket fuel and plastic. I appreciate the way our factory on Vulcanus feels very different from our factory back home. We don't need everything here, just the parts to launch a rocket, and along the way we get to use our fancy new tools and recipes to make certain steps easier. It's really satisfying. Now, I lost some footage at this point, so you'll just have to take my word for it. I built all this stuff. That includes plastic, red circuits, explosives, and rockets. The circuits are for crafting big drills, and the rockets are a gift I'd like to give to our neighbors. That's because these rockets deal big damage, and Demolishers' heads aren't 100% immune to them, though only 60%. Maybe it'll be enough to overcome their powerful health regen. I also brought some poison capsules to deal steady damage in the background, but my main focus for this attempt is the rockets. Unfortunately, they don't seem to do much, and I'm running out of options. Let's think on that for a bit while we set up blue circuits. There's not much different here in terms of the factory itself, but getting the ingredients over to this spot is proving to be a challenge with all these cliffs in the way. I guess I should have left more space. Okay, how about cannon shells? We haven't really used tanks yet, but these things do a lot of damage. Maybe that's the secret ingredient here. Turns out tanks are not very agile. It's going to be tough to outmaneuver this thing. Demolishers also have this crazy attack where magma erupts from the ground around you, which is pretty much impossible to dodge in a tank. Okay, let's add in some poison capsules. Maybe they'll help a little bit. And miraculously, its health bar actually begins to drain. Turns out I'd been thinking about poison capsules all wrong. I'd been fooled by their smaller numbers and fell for the bait of big damage values from rockets and cannons. Forget the tank. We're doing this man against worm. Now, I'm not entirely sure, but my hypothesis is that poison capsules are effective on these things because each of the worm's segments take damage from it simultaneously. Add up those small numbers from all of our poison clouds stacked on top of each other, and you've got enough damage per second to take down a Demolisher. We need to be able to take more hits, so let's replace our building equipment with energy shields. worm's territory is tricky to maneuver, full of skinny passages between lava chasms. We can take the fight to our own turf. But, not too close to the factory, please. The great beast is defeated, leaving behind tungsten ore in the poison fog. The red zone on the map disappears, leaving a portion of that tempting tungsten patch peeking into our newly claimed territory. Tungsten ore can only be mined with big mining drills, so let's try them out. These things are expensive, but they cover a huge area, mine 5 times faster than normal drills, and drain the underlying resource patch at only half the rate. No need for a train, we're close enough that a long belt is enough for getting this back home. Finally, we can start working towards Vulcanus' planetary science pack. First, coal, sulfuric acid, and tungsten ore all come together to make tungsten carbide. Tungsten ore can also combine with molten iron in a foundry to make tungsten plates. Finally, both of these tungsten products with some molten copper gives us metallurgic science packs ready to deliver home for research. All that's left now is to build some rockets to get out of here. Each of the 3 starting planets makes one of the rocket ingredients easier to produce, and for Vulcanus that's low-density structures. Using foundries, we can cast them directly from molten metals and plastic, making them significantly faster and cheaper. Just like on Novice, we make rocket fuel from light oil. Meanwhile, I still haven't figured out that we can make concrete from molten iron, so I ship a bunch of iron ore from Novice. Real big brain plays happening here. And just like that, we're starting to export some science. We've still got some business to attend to here on Vulcanus, but that shouldn't stop us from starting to unlock some goodies in the background. Before we leave, it's probably a good idea to secure the rest of this tungsten ore patch. That just means defeating another small demolisher. Time to go worm hunting. That ends up securing us quite a bit of territory. I don't think we'll need to go all the way up there, but it's nice to have, I guess. Now we can mine all the tungsten. We ended up with a pretty sizable factory here, all things considered. It takes a lot of logistics to build a rocket, and it's been a satisfying experience bootstrapping it all up from nothing. But now it's time to head home and reap the rewards. The bots can handle this place while we're away. Next time, we'll enjoy the fruits of our labor and see how things change back on Novice as a result. Thanks for watching.